I think this will be helpful to everybody. Eliminating interest, getting out of debt, planning your future, making an impact in your life, making an impact in families' lives, legacies, etc. The process is way more important than the product. So here's where a lot of the magic happens. So right now, you already know this, but sometimes seeing it in black and white, it kind of hits you a different way. So you already know this, but I mean, you're $400,000 in debt, and every month you got $3,000 a month flowing away from you. You'll never see it again. That opportunity of those dollars is gone. The only way to do something is you got to replace those monies. You agree? So that's $36,000 a year. If we can eliminate this interest out of your life, get the banks out of your life forever, how would you like a $36,000 a year pay raise? Because that's what you're doing, right? If that money's not flowing away from you anymore, you get to keep that. Working for you instead of the bank. Okay? So you make around $10,000 a month, we know that. This is your debt payments, and you spend all this other money. So right now, this month alone, today, May 2024, you're spending over $1,600 in interest in just this one month. That doesn't sound like 4% interest, does it? Because you're spending $2,900 and more than half of it is going to interest. All right, so for every dollar you're paying down on your principal, you're spending over $3 in interest. I mean, because of interest, sorry. Not cool, is it? So here's the reality of what we can do for you. In red on the left-hand side is the bank's plan. In the middle is what we will do for you guaranteed. Money back guarantee for our services. And in the right is the savings. With our system, we're going to save you $193,000 in interest. Do you want to pay $286,000 in interest or $93,000 in interest? Which one? You want to be debt-free in 29 years or 10? You see this number right here? Yeah. Let me show you what I mean by that. This is my favorite part. This is the part where I'm not going to just help you eliminate debt. We're going to crush that debt. We're going to also change your life. Not just being debt-free, but we're going to change the trajectory of your family and your legacy. Okay? So right here, year 1, year 2, year 3, this is in red, where you're going to be on your own with what you're doing now. In blue, right next to it, is where you're going to be every year with the Money Max account system. That makes sense so far. In year 1, year 2, year 3, let's look at year 3. 3 years from now, you're 60 years old. So when you're 63 years old, do you still want to owe $360,000 in debt, or would you rather only owe $305,000? You tell me. 10 years from now, do you want to still owe $280,000, or would you rather owe nothing? Like I call that for my clients their Jubilee Day. It is the day you are free. So 10 years from now, you are 70 years old. I don't think you still want to owe $280,000 when you can owe nothing. Am I fair in saying that? Now, if you're debt-free in 10 years, you had $36,000 a year flowing away from you, right? What this green represents is if you just put that money in a savings account, 1%. Savings account at 1%. So 15 years from now, you're 75 years old. Do you want to still owe $228,000? Or would you rather have $217,000 sitting in your savings account that was at 1%? That's almost a $500,000 swing, by the way. Which one makes more sense to you? Of course, you're going to say this one, right? Here's what's so neat. if you let me do what I know I can do, now that I know your numbers and we've talked and I know your goals, this is at a 1% savings account. Do you remember the last meeting we had and I told you about there's that special account? We can set this up that as you're paying down your debt, we're using an account. Remember, it's that special life insurance contract that I mentioned? It's a specially designed contract that I know how to build for you, that we can actually use it like an offset account, like a savings account, where you can store the capital in there and it's going to grow at 4-5% a year for you, roughly. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Has built-in guarantees. But when you use that money to eliminate the debt and get out of debt or make investments, whatever you want, it's still going to grow and compound on itself like you never touched it. So if you like what we see here, like, what do you think this number is here if it's 4%, not 1%? This 217 grand, or this 470 grand. Like, I don't think you still, when you're 80 years old, I don't think you still want to owe 166 when you can have 500 grand in the bank. And if you use my special becoming your own banker strategy, it may be even more than that. And what I would like to do is, if you feel comfortable enough, like, let's go over the Money Max account system, get you going in the right direction. And what I would like to do is design some policy strategies to show you how you can eliminate the interest and build wealth at the same time, so that, 15 years from now, you don't owe 230,000 and you don't just have 200 grand at your disposal, you have a lot more. And it's all available to you without taxes. Does that sound good? Like, can I put together a strategy where we can show you what that would look like? And I'll have a whole design for you and plan for you that we can look at together next time we meet. Hey, there's more to this story. We want to take baby steps, right? Let's get you going in the right direction. Let's get you on the Money Max account. Again, guys, there's more we can do if you let me. And that's up to you. You got to let me. If you just want the Money Max account, that's fine. Guys, I have plenty of clients that just do the Money Max, but I have a lot of clients that do more. But part of the value of us as professionals is that we understand how money works. We understand that we're going to show them a strategy on top of the Money Max account as another offset account for them, right? They can use a savings account as an offset. They can use a HELOC, home equity line of credit, as an offset. They can use a cash value life insurance contract. They can use a money market it's just a place where you're storing the capital. That's all it is. So why not store your capital in the best way to store capital, which is a cash value life insurance contract? Like, it's actually a stupid question. Sorry, I'm getting fired up about this, but hey, where do you want to store your money before using it? Do you want to store it in a savings account where you store it and then you use it and then you never see any of those monies ever again? It never affects you again. It never helps you in any way. Or do you want to store it in this other account that, while you store it there, it works for you, and while you take it as leverage, a loan against the policy? Again, if you don't understand how that works, you need to learn that first. But why not store it there so you can leverage it? And I know, why not store it somewhere where you can use those dollars, let it still grow for you, and use dollars against it of the same value there to pay off debt, to live your life, to do other things? Why would you not want to store money in an account that does that? If you want to still store money in your savings account, go ahead. I don't know why. I'm really confused on that. And when you really understand that, you're going to say, yeah, I'm confused on that too, Brian. I don't know why anybody would not want to do that. Right? And here's what I'll say. Nelson Nash said it best. When you understand what the problem is, you will know exactly what you need to do. And that's what we want to help clients understand. So, what do you want to do next with this? When they understand, when they see the policy designs, all that stuff, and they say, well, I mean, Brian, my discretionary income's, $2,000 a month, and You showed me a policy design for 500 a month. I mean, should we do 500 a month for me and 500 a month for my wife? Yes, right? Like, or hey, Brian, I kind of was lying to you. Um, I said I only have 2 grand left over, but I mean, I really got three. So can I store 2,000 of that every month into the policy first? And then if I need to use it, I will pay off the debt and stuff. Yes. Hey, Brian, I didn't tell you. Um, I got 30 grand sitting in my savings account right now. Is there any way that I can like stuff that into the policy or maybe build it out so that I slowly put that into my policy? Yes. Like when they understand that all you're doing is shifting their mindset to where do you want to store those dollars before deploying it to do other things with it? And you get all these other benefits. And yeah, you know what's great? Please tell me right now if you can give me a savings account function that if I put in, let's say 24 grand this year, right? 2,000 a month. I die in a year. I'm 47 years old. If I set up a policy for 2 grand a month, my guess is at least 500,000 death benefit. My guess, okay? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe it's not quite that much. Let's say 200,000. Let's make it low, okay? You tell me right now that somewhere where guaranteed, I can have a savings account that I put in $2,000 a month in, so that's 24,000 in a year, and I die in 12 months, and my heirs get $250,000 tax free off of that savings account. There's not one. There's not one. When you really understand the value of a offset account, I'm using that for the money max account purposes, offset account that functions similar to what they've already been doing with their savings accounts, functions similar, but has so many more benefits, use and control. There's no other place better to store capital than in a dividend paying whole life contract from a mutual company. There's just not, but there's no better place to store capital for the infinite banking concept purposes than in a dividend paying whole life contract designed properly, one that has access, use, and control of most of those dollars right away. It's beautiful. And you solve so many, like some people call it the Swiss Army knife, right, of financial services, because there's so many uses inside that policy that you don't even know. There's a reason it's called infinite banking, because there's so much value if you use the product the right way. There's infinite possibilities. The only thing that limits it is your imagination. And I mean that. Okay, I'm off my high horse. Who has questions?